If you've ever looked at your grade and thought, how did they even get that number? This video is for you. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Dr. Meredith Castles. I'm a science communicator, user experience researcher, educator, and someone endlessly curious about the way humans experience the world around them. Here on this channel, we talk about the human side of science, technology, learning, curiosity, gaming, user experience, and occasionally complete chaos. So if any of that sounds like your kind of thing and you get something useful out of today's video, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It genuinely helps a lot, especially while we're building this awesome curiosity-driven community together. Now, today we're talking about something that causes students an unbelievable amount of stress: rubrics, marking, and why thinking, but I did everything in the HD column, doesn't always work the way students think it does. One of the biggest misconceptions students have about university is that academics somehow randomly generate grades using dark magic and caffeine. Why that might be true sometimes. Honestly, given how mysterious rubrics can sometimes feel, fair enough. Or students think that if they only complete the HD column of the rubric, they'll magically get that HD. But that's actually not how marking works at all. So today I want to pull back the curtain just a little bit and show you how we actually mark, what makes an answer strong, why justification matters, and why learning is becoming more human, not less, in the age of AI. So one thing students often misunderstand is that rubrics are cumulative. So it means we don't actually start marking from the HD downwards, we actually mark from the NN or fail column upwards. So that means to earn a pass, you need to meet the pass criteria. To earn a credit, you need to demonstrate the qualities of a pass consistently and then go beyond that. To earn a distinction, you need to demonstrate the earlier levels plus stronger reasoning, communication, and depth. And to earn that elusive high distinction, HD, you need to demonstrate all of the earlier levels consistently, plus deeper insight, stronger justification, and higher quality communication. So when students say, but I did everything in the HD column, sometimes what's happening is the foundational criteria that's underneath that weren't consistently demonstrated. And HD isn't about sprinkling fancy words onto a paragraph like academic Parmesan cheese. It's about quality all the way through. You can't skip straight to the HD column like it's a video game speedrun. So something else really important to notice in rubrics is the language being used. Words like sophisticated, excellent, exceptional, well justified, and insightful. Those words are usually describing consistency across the assessment as a whole, not just one sentence, one paragraph, or one really polished section. So in other words, an HD level assessment usually feels consistently strong throughout it. The reasoning is consistently thoughtful. The communication is consistently clear. The justification is consistently well supported. And this becomes especially important in group assignments. Sometimes markers can very clearly see where one section sounds highly polished and another section sounds rushed, inconsistent, or written in a completely different voice. And that's not about catching students out. It's about recognizing that strong academic communication is usually cohesive and sustained across the whole piece of work. So a single excellent paragraph doesn't automatically elevate the entire assessment to an HD if the rest of the work isn't demonstrating the same level consistently. And honestly, that's true outside university too. Whether it's research, design, communication, UX, science, or industry work, consistency matters. So notice the wording in these sections. Critical analysis is a criterion. Let's look at the NN fail. Mostly descriptive. Limited evidence of understanding, minimal justification. Then you've got pass. Basic understanding demonstrated. Some reasoning present. Limited examples or depth. Then you got credit, clear reasoning and relevant examples, ideas connected logically, some evidence of independent thought. DN distinction, strong justification and analysis, multiple perspectives considered, well-supported conclusions. And then you got HD, the elusive HD, sophisticated reasoning, insightful interpretation, nuanced and well-justified arguments, and strong synthesis of ideas. This is also where students hear terms like be more analytical, justify your answer, go deeper. And you understandably go, okay, but what does that actually mean? So here's a typical example of an answer to the question, what are the impacts of social media? We'll use that one. Social media has both positive and negative impacts on communication. It helps people connect and share information quickly, but it can also spread misinformation and cyberbullying. Great. Now, technically, this does answer the question, but it mostly describes something. It doesn't really explain why. It doesn't justify ideas. It doesn't show much reasoning or interpretation. This is the classic, it answered the question, but not necessarily thoughtfully. And look, that's incredibly common. Nobody is born knowing how to write academically. That's part of what university is supposed to teach you. And also saying social media affects communication is a bit like saying food is important. Technically, it's true. Not exactly groundbreaking. So let's have a look at a good answer. Social media has transformed communication by making interaction immediate and global. But whether that impact is positive depends heavily on how platforms are used. For example, during natural disasters and emergency situations, social media platforms can rapidly distribute critical information to large populations in real time. There's a little bit of an evidence there. Bert and Ernie 2023, nice citation. At the same time, researchers have also found that the speed of information sharing can amplify misinformation before verification processes occur. Another citation, Smith and Wesson 2022. And then finishing with, personally, I think the most significant shift is behavioral, rather than technological. Communication has become faster and more accessible, but often less reflective and less nuanced. Now, obviously, if I ever see a reference to Bert and Ernie in an actual assignment, we may need to have a conversation. But this actually highlights something really important in the age of AI. Do not blindly trust generated references or sources. Generative AI can sometimes produce citations that look academic, but are completely fictional. And yes, occasionally suspiciously Muppet related. But notice what the stronger answer is doing overall. It's not just making claims, it's supporting those claims with examples, with evidence, with references, with reasoning, and its interpretation. That's a huge part of academic writing. And notice something else too. The stronger answer sounds more human because it contains human reasoning. Now, this also connects something really important happening in education right now, which is generative AI, as we know. AI tools are becoming very good at producing answers that sound academic, which, to be fair, is also true of some humans. But university learning isn't just about sounding smart. It's about demonstrating your reasoning, your judgment, your creativity, your communication, your understanding. And I think it's also important to remember something else here. Your teaching staff are human beings too. Your tutors, lecturers, and unit coordinators are made up of people who are either current students themselves, researchers, or people who have already been through the university system. We've written assignments, we've sat in tutorials, we've stressed over our grades, we've received feedback. Most of us have also panic submitted assignments at 11:58 p.m. at some point in our lives too. So when we look at your work, we're not looking at it like robots trying to catch you out. We're looking at it as people who understand what strong thinking, genuine effort, and authentic learning really does look like. And honestly, staff genuinely want students to succeed. That's why feedback exists. That's why rubrics exist. And that's why consultations exist. It's not to punish students, but to help guide the learning and growth. And because of that, you may notice universities increasingly using verbal presentations, discussions, whiteboarding, hand-drawn wireframes, prototypes, workshops, and more in-class activities. It's not because education is going backwards, but because these approaches help reveal something incredibly important: your thinking process as a human being. AI can absolutely support your learning. It can help brainstorm, explain concepts, it can help structure ideas, but learning still happens inside you. Your perspective matters. Your interpretation matters. Your creativity is what matters. At the end of the day, university isn't really about chasing a perfect grade. It's about developing your ability to think, to communicate, question, reason, and grow. An HD is a wonderful thing if you can achieve one, sure, but meaningful learning is bigger than a number. Also, please sleep occasionally. Your brain needs RAM. Okay, so hopefully this video helped demystify marking just a little bit, helped explain what academics are actually looking for, and maybe help reduce some of that anxiety around assessments too. So until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, here on this channel, you experience endless wonder.